All right, welcome back, everyone. So in part one, we really dug into that huge gap between Aunt Jennifer's dreams, her amazing, fearless tigers, and her really tough, oppressive reality. Well, now we've arrived at the final stanza, and honestly, it's pretty heartbreaking. This is where she confronts the tragic future she imagines for herself. So the stanza kicks off with this really chilling line, but look closely at that first word, when. This is so important. Aunt Jennifer isn't dead yet, right? She's alive, but she's so completely consumed by her suffering right now that she's literally projecting it onto her own death. She imagines her hands, the very hands that created her art, will still be terrified, even after she's gone. And that really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Can fear actually follow you beyond life? I mean, logically, of course not. But for Aunt Jennifer, the trauma is just so incredibly deep that she cannot imagine any escape, not even in death. And that tells you everything about how trapped she feels right now, in this moment. She can't even find peace in her own thoughts. Okay, so the poem then really zooms in on her hands, and specifically on that wedding ring. It's about to add a whole other layer to this idea of inescapable suffering. This is where the poet gets really clever with the word ringed. It has this incredible double meaning. So on one level, yeah, it's the literal wedding ring on her finger. But on a deeper level, it symbolizes a cycle that never ends, a ring of ordeals, of all the hardships that defined her married life.
And then we get the phrase mastered by. And let's be clear, this isn't just about being influenced by someone. This is about total, complete domination. It's like being a puppet on strings, with absolutely no will of your own. That's how Aunt Jennifer felt, completely controlled by the patriarchal structure of her marriage, where her husband held all the power.
But just when things feel incredibly bleak, the poem makes this huge pivot. The focus shifts away from the trapped woman and onto her free-spirited creation, the one thing that actually escapes her tragic fate. And this is where you really see the tragic beauty of it all. Her art is gonna outlive her. Think about that. These tigers she stitched, they're her legacy. They represent everything she wanted to be, strong, free, but could only express through her craft. So while she perishes in fear, her creation, well, it becomes immortal. And just listen to the words the poet uses here. The tigers are prancing. That word is just bursting with life and joyful energy, isn't it? And they are proud and unafraid. Those are the exact qualities that Aunt Jennifer so tragically just doesn't have in her own life. And that right there, that is the heart of the poem's tragedy. You've got the creator on one side, trapped, scared, and mortal. And then you have her creation, free, proud, and eternal. Isn't that just incredible? Her art managed to achieve the liberation that she, the artist, never could. So how does the poet Adrienne Rich pull this off? How does she create such a powerful, heartbreaking contrast? Well, she uses some very specific literary tools to really get the message across. Let's dive in and take a look. First up is irony. And really, the whole poem is just drenched in it. Think about it. You have an artist who is filled with anxiety, but she creates a masterpiece that is the absolute picture of fearlessness. The creator's life is the total opposite of what she creates. That's irony at its most powerful. Next, we've got symbolism, and this poem is packed with it. The tigers, they're not just tigers. They stand for freedom, for wildness, for an untamed confidence. And on the flip side, you have the wedding ring. It's not just a piece of jewelry, is it? It symbolizes the heavy, crushing burden of her oppressive marriage. All right, this table sums it up nicely. You've got alliteration in prancing proud. That repeating P sound gives it this confident, bouncy rhythm, right? The whole idea of being ringed by ordeals is a powerful metaphor for her marriage being an inescapable trap. And then there's the rhyme scheme, ABB. This is really interesting because it's so simple, almost like a children's nursery rhyme, and that simple, predictable sound makes the deep, complex suffering she's going through feel even more shocking and unsettling.
Okay, so we've broken down all the devices, but what does it all mean? Let's zoom out. What's the core message of Aunt Jennifer's story? What are we supposed to take away from her life?
Well, the poem is hitting on some really big themes. For sure, it's a powerful critique of the oppression of women in a male-dominated society. It highlights that huge gap between our imagination and our reality. But it also shows the amazing power of art to express the things we just can't say out loud.
And this gets to a really important psychological point. Why was she so obsessed with this terrible future? It's because she felt completely powerless in her present. Because she felt like she couldn't change anything about her situation right now, her mind just created a future where her suffering was permanent. And that brings us to the biggest lesson her tragic story offers us. While her art was her only form of action, her life is a huge reminder that we have the power to act now. The small steps we take in our own lives, right here in the present moment, are what build a future that's free from the fears that consumed her. So I'll leave you with this final, lingering question to think about. How could she channel so much strength and confidence into her art, yet remain unable to claim it for herself? It's the central puzzle of the poem, and it leaves us with a great deal to consider.